Welcome, friends. You are listening to the Mind Body Alchemy podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Miramontes. This is where intuition meets education in the realms of spirituality, fitness, mindset, and more, all to create lasting change. Welcome back to the podcast, and thanks so much for being here. I need to tell you a story. If you hear a cat in the background, it is because last week my son found a cat underneath our trailer who was injured very, very badly. And so I am rehabbing her. She is hanging out in my office and she is a noisy little thing. I will tell you, I am someone who has identified as not a cat person. In fact, I don't think you would have found someone who loathed them as much as I have in my past. And it's always been to my benefit that I'm also allergic. So I've never had to have a cat. The kids could never have a cat. We love our dogs. We have lots of dogs. But this little kitty is growing on me. And the reason that I'm telling you this story is because if I can change this belief that I have about myself, then you can change any belief that you have about yourself. Now let's move on, because beliefs are not what this podcast is about. I have recorded that episode already. It's probably like episode 3 or 4, something like that. So definitely go back and check that out. Today, I want to talk to you about how you are making your decisions. We all have some baseline behaviors that we know are going to be the key to success when executed consistently. These are our lifestyle behaviors and the ones that we want to be nailing without much mental drama about them. These are the lifestyle behaviors that we are trying to actually turn into a lifestyle. And then we have moments and situations that deviate from that baseline. How we handle those moments and what they mean to our overall experience and results is determined by whether we make a decision or an exception. I want to encourage you to, I want to insist that you get really good at making decisions, not exceptions. When you make a decision from a place of consciousness, you aren't upset or triggered by the cost. It doesn't steal from your overall goal or satisfaction of the journey. It doesn't make you feel like it's just too hard. You accept that you made that choice, knowing full well that it might slow you down a bit, and you're good with it. It's part of your process. In fact, it's part of the process that makes your success so sustainable. It's necessary. We have to be able to be flexible without breaking. Now, when you make an exception, that's different. Exceptions are spontaneous, and I know you want to be spontaneous, but hear me out. Exceptions are driven by FOMO or people-pleasing, and they usually come with some attitude of, I'll make up for it, start over tomorrow, do better next time. It keeps you in this victimized mindset. It always steals your success, and when the consequences show up, it feels unfair because life just happened. It's too hard. You don't want to have to give up so much. Making exceptions feels like you have two choices: misery sticking to your goals, or the misery that you can't ever get it together. Making decisions allows you to keep your future self in mind while knowing that you don't have to give up fun to chase your dreams and goals. Making exceptions only considers how you've reacted to things in the past while feeling victimized by your choices. Making a decision means I'm committed to having 2 drinks with friends before I'm switching to water. Making exceptions means, I sure hope I don't overdo it again. I tend to do that around alcohol, as if there is no choice. Making decisions means kindly declining another round. Making exceptions means blaming your friends for being so pushy and worrying about how they're going to feel about you when you decline. Making decisions means choosing to cut your workout in half because your daughter has a piano recital and you know that your time is better spent there. Making exceptions means that you talk yourself out of a workout altogether because you have the recital and half a workout would never make a difference anyway. Making decisions looks at your lifestyle as a whole, and making exceptions looks at the urges you're having in the moment. Now, both situations are going to result in moving a little slower toward the goal. This is not a problem. But how you choose to think about your choice is what determines whether or not you're going to build resilience and stamina while enjoying the process, or you'll torture yourself, rely on bouts of willpower, and teeter on giving it all up again. I want you to get really good at making decisions. And I don't say this to mean that every decision is going to be goal supporting. I mean that every decision is made with your eyes wide open, that you are making your decisions from a place of abundance and trust, not scarcity and a sense of entitlement. When you get awesome at making decisions, you also learn to decide to support your goals when it would be easier not to, and you don't have a lot of drama about it. You've learned to weigh the pros and cons. You've learned to decide what is worth it and what isn't. And most importantly, you've learned to talk to yourself in a way that is really proud of yourself when you aren't having that third or fourth drink. You aren't angrily picking at your salad while everyone else is having a burger because you know you can have a burger tomorrow. You can always make a different decision. You're happy with your choice because you chose it on purpose. When we learn the skill of being flexible and accountable, then we stop making our journey so damn miserable. We build trust with ourselves by knowing that we are always just one decision away from continuing on our path to success. When we leave our choices up to chance and hope we feel like making a good choice in the moment, we reinforce a lack of trust in ourselves. We begin to believe that change is impossible, that we'll never get where we want to go. You will never feel like not eating a second basket of chips and salsa while you're waiting for your food. You'll never feel like putting 2 bites of a chocolate bar away for later. You don't feel like doing those things, but rather you decide that you want your goals more. You can decide to hold both the desire to eat like you used to and the desire to change at the same time while allowing your future self to have the last word. So how do we know if we're making a decision or an exception? An exception is described to me in 2 ways. One is as a slip-up, an accident, something that just happened. Life happens. It got in the way. There is very little ownership, if any. The other, which is a little bit sneakier, is described as, I just did it and I own it. And that sounds like it was a decision, but it's what follows that shines the light on the fact that it was an exception. It's usually followed by complaints of how hard it all is and how you just aren't making any progress. Oftentimes in the same email or coaching call or even the same sentence. There is no connection made about how the outcome was impacted by the decision because you felt like you've been working so hard on all of this. And you have. But you haven't been working smart. You have been working hard on arguing with yourself with willpower, and you're losing more times than not, and that shit is exhausting. Decisions don't make you want to quit. They don't have a beat down. They don't spiral into a bunch of other choices that take you further from your baseline behaviors until you finally feel like you can get back on track. They're not attached to the Last Supper mentality, and they aren't a time to check out. They are choices made on purpose while still feeling in integrity once the choice has been made. No regrets, no bitching, no moaning about how hard it is. No making the choice, pretending to be fine with it, and using that protective sense of apathy to play small and never reach your goal. You never have to give up pleasurable food in order to reach your goals. You don't have to give up social interactions, alcohol, and French fries. You do have to give up eating restaurant-sized portions, drinking a full bottle of wine instead of a glass, and using food as your only source of pleasure in life. But that isn't really giving up, is it? That's giving back. It gives you back your energy, well-being. It gives you back your mornings after so you can have a good mood, and the gift of finding new life pleasures to indulge in that don't have the same consequences. You don't have to make all of your decisions ahead of time, meaning you can go to the restaurant and decide if the salad or cheeseburger sounds better to you in that moment. But one thing that you can decide ahead of time is if you're going to stay present and connected while you eat whatever you choose, whether you're going to stop it enough or keep going until you can't stand your jeans anymore. You can decide if you're going to eat the cookies in the office mid-morning because they're just sitting there, or if you're going to save one to eat with your lunch when you're hungry. You get to decide if you're going to wind down with a couple glasses of wine, or if you're going to choose to journal about all your bullshit, take a bath, and get some quality sleep. The reality is none of these decisions are right or wrong. They are just your decisions. But I want you making them with a clear head. Don't ignore the voice in your head that is arguing for your future self so that you can only hear the voice that tells you how hard it all is. Stay connected to your goals and then decide. Deprivation isn't required to make goal-supportive decisions. Don't let your brain tell you that not eating the entire burger is deprivation or restriction. It's not. Choosing a salad because you're afraid of French fries, that's restriction. Choosing to enjoy your salad or French fries until your body has communicated that it's had enough, that's love. And love for ourselves is where all the best decisions are made. That's where I want you making your decisions from. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved the episode, do the cool thing and support the show by leaving a rating and review. It helps me so much more than you know. Screenshot the episode and share it on social media. Tag me. I love seeing these. Let me know what decisions you are working on making for yourself right now and how committed you are to ditching the exceptions. All my contact information is in the show notes. You can find me on Instagram. You can email me. It's all there for you. If you have questions or thoughts on this episode, ideas for future episodes, or you want to learn how we can work together one-on-one, drop into my inbox. It's always open for you. All right. Bye.